Also, we'd like to thank Cavelli Enterprises for continuing its support of this event. Thanks to Birkeland Flowers for the beautiful centerpieces at your tables. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're allowed to take them home, so you have to fight over that. Also, thanks to KDC Printing for its work on your program booklets. Please take a look at those. We want to thank all of our sponsors who are kind enough to support this program by taking an ad out in the book. We also want to send out our appreciation to LED3, the guys in the back, for the use of their video screens here tonight. Also, thanks to Greg Roten from Armstrong, who's recording this evening's banquet. He'll also have a chance to replay this thing if you're so entailed to watch it again on channels 20 and 100. And before we go any further, there are other people that we'd like to recognize here tonight. Some people from the athletic department, starting with our Executive Director of Athletics, Ron Strollo. I know Ron's here. He'll be leaving for Indianapolis shortly, but he's here for now. Our Associate Athletic Directors, Elaine Jacobs and Rick Love. Also, we'd like to recognize Jim Morrison, Tom Morell, and Andrew Wingard, who coordinated tonight's event. Thank you, gentlemen. As far as our student athletes are concerned, we would like to congratulate both the men's and women's track and field teams for winning the Horizon League Indoor Championships this past weekend. Would head coach Brian Gorby and his staff please stand? Where's Coach Gorby? It was the 4th straight league title for the guys, and not only the 3rd in a row for the women, but their 5th in 6 years. So we would like to congratulate our indoor track and field teams. Also, congratulations to the women's outdoor track and field team. They had a dominant all-around performance last May as they won their school record 5th consecutive league championship. Also, not to be outdone, we want to congratulate the men's cross-country team for winning the 2018 Horizon League Championship, its 2nd in 3 years. Coach Gorby was also named the 2018 Horizon League Men's Cross-Country Coach of the Year. Let's not forget the women's tennis team led by head coach Mikkel Sopel. They captured the 2018 Horizon League Championship and advanced to the NCAA Regionals for the 5th straight year. Congratulations, ladies. Now, in addition to that, we would like to recognize all of our coaches, those in attendance here tonight, both head coaches and assistants. Would you all please stand? You do such a great job molding our young men and women, helping them become successful both on and off the field. Also, with the rest of the athletic staff here, also stand for your hard work on a day in and day out basis. Thank you to everybody, both staff and players alike. Now, overall, it was another banner year for our student athletes. We now have more than 400 here at Youngstown State. A total of 276 student athletes have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better. 52 actually earned a semester GPA of 4.0 in the fall. That's an all-time high. There were 27 student athletes who have a cumulative GPA of 4.0 through the fall semester, tying an all-time high. The women's basketball team has a cumulative GPA of 3.75. That's together the highest of any team on record. Collectively, all 19 teams have an average GPA of 3.17, tying an all-time high. That's thanks to our coaches, our teachers, our professors, our counselors. And obviously, they're not all here tonight, but with those student athletes who were here tonight, please stand. I know you had a chance to meet a lot of them at your tables tonight. With all of our student athletes in attendance, please take a bow. This event's for you. A lot of the money raised through this event here helps pay for the rings for those teams that win league championships. And we are very thankful for all that you do to represent Youngstown State and the city of Youngstown, both on and off the field. Now, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth and increased academic standards at Youngstown State since this former Penguin of the Year became the university's president. This past year, the Higher Learning Commission affirmed YSU's accreditation through the year 2027, noting that the university is well managed, extensively engaged, and clearly focused on student success. Full-time equivalent enrollment increased for the 3rd consecutive year at YSU. The freshman class's high school GPA was the highest in school history. Faculty and staff earned nearly $9 million in research and service grants, the highest in 9 years. Not only that, but YSU offers the best value in public higher education in the state of Ohio with the lowest tuition among public comprehensive universities. It's my privilege to bring up the gentleman who's been the driving force behind that, our president, Jim Tressel.
That was way too long, Rob. We'll never make 8:30. You got to speed it up a little bit. On behalf of our entire Youngstown State University family, we thank all of you that are here this evening. So many of you have been here for all 29 years. How many people have been to every one of these banquets for 29 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Paul Mcfadden, I didn't know you were 29, Paul. It's amazing if you think back to the winter of 1991 and these banquets began and the hall was full and the impact was tremendous. We had no idea we were going to need to buy that many rings for Gorby's teams. I think Gorby's teams have bought like 37 rings. So we've needed to have big crowds like this. But we are so appreciative for all of you that appreciate the excellence of our student athletes, appreciate how they recognize and really represent our valley and our institution. And as Rob talked about those academics, I mean, that's extraordinary. 3.17, 52 folks with a 4.0. I told Ron Strollo the other day, we've got to announce that we're bringing on 2 more sports so we can bring on another 50 great students like that and keep moving the needle up. And so we're excited to have the men's swimming coming back after a short time off and beginning women's lacrosse very soon. And we can't have enough of great students like the folks that you've met out here, and we're so proud of them. And we're excited that we're able this evening to honor Paul and Laura Lydon. To think that it's the 100th anniversary of the Lydon Company. I think back to 30-some years ago when I got here to town, and Joe Malmazur, you know, just a giant in my life, and Bill Lydon. I was petrified of those two. And whenever Mr. Malmazur said, we're going out to Mr. Lydon's office, I said, oh. And we'd walk in, and those two would get after me, and all they cared was that we would build a program that their hometown would be proud of. And whatever they could do, those two would do. However they could support us, they would do that. We needed dorms, they built dorms. As long as we built a Newman Center with it. It's part of the deal. So it's so exciting, and I can't wait to hear Paul. And Laura, are you going to get to? No, okay. But it's exciting, and we're, you know, YSU wouldn't be YSU without the Lydon family, and we appreciate it so much. I've seen one of our YSU Board of Trustees members out here, Dave Dybel. Dave and Holly, if you could stand, please. How about a hand for our board members? And I was given special responsibility and duty this evening to make an extraordinary presentation. We've been fortunate at Youngstown State University to have a lot of stability, to have a brand, to do some extraordinary things because people have been with us a long time doing great things. And tonight we're going to recognize one of those people who has been with us for a long time. In fact, we have a ring right here to symbolize our appreciation at the ring dinner for this person who has been with us for 30 years. The voice of the YSU football Penguins. Please help me thank and recognize Mr. Bob Hannon for 30 years of extraordinary broadcasts. Where's Bob Hannon? Come on, come forward here, Bob. want 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Now, I know you can't go short, so come on.
So President Trussell knows I like to talk, so we're going to be here till about 10. I'll be quick. I didn't know this was happening tonight. And my first year was 1989. Our first game was at Maine. It was like 90 degrees. And I was sweating so bad. Good thing it was 90. I was nervous. I wasn't sweating because it was hot. It was the first game with YSU. I'll just say about that first year, I want to make one last comment because I know he wants to move on.
Okay, you're about done.
We played Eastern Kentucky in the playoffs. And they had a legendary coach, Roy Kidd. He was there 100 years. His name was Roy Kidd, won national championships. And we were just supposed to be there next to win in the playoffs. And I remember interviewing this man in the pregame. And he said, we aspire to be what Eastern Kentucky is. And I never forgot that because as I look back on it, we don't only aspired to be, we became and went above them. It's been 30 great years. Hopefully they'll keep me a couple more. I know Coach Pelini would miss me. He loves those Monday night radio shows when we get together at the MVR. He would miss that. But thank you. It's been awesome. My son's been with me for most of those years. He came to his first game when he was 4 years old. And he still goes to games. He used to sit between Paul Mcfadden and me. And we used to go do the radio show after with President Trussell, and he got to know President Trussell really well. Thanks, Ron Strollo. Thanks to all the coaches, and most thanks to President Trussell for a great ride. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bob. Extraordinary service, despite having a long list of really shaky sideline reporters. He had Paul Mcfadden on the sideline, who really wasn't very good. He's had Sam Marone up in the box with him, terrible. Moransky, I mean, he's from Michigan. You know, I mean, it's, despite all of that, Bob Hannon has been extraordinary, and we're happy to recognize you, and thanks for those 30 years. Again, thanks so much for all of you, all these years, making a difference for an extraordinary group of student athletes and coaches and programs. We couldn't do it without you. Go Penguins.
Thank you very much, President. Just to kind of follow up on what he's been able to do here at YSU, the university, along with Smart 2 Network, received a $10.8 million federal infrastructure grant that'll get a chance to completely renovate Fifth Avenue from Mercy Health downtown and those side streets as well. So things are perking up, as you've seen on WIC. That's what's going to happen on Fifth as they move forward into the 21st century. So again, congratulations and thank you, President. As many of you know, the Penguin Club and its members are really the driving force behind YSU athletics. They're vital in the success of our student athletes, and they always have been. They allow our kids to compete at the highest level. They give them the opportunity to win championships, and their support for events like this is imperative for our continued success. If you are already a Penguin Club member, thank you. If you are not, Tom Hura is here now to twist your arm and to make you become a member of the Penguin Club. Tom? Where'd Tom? There he is.
Thank you, Rob. You know, it can be intimidating when they tell you you have to speak in front of 1,000 people and you get the agenda spot sandwiched between President Trussell and Bo Pelini. So right before I came up here, I asked my wife if she had any last words of advice for me, and she said, whatever you do, don't try to be too charming, too witty, or too intellectual. Just be yourself. So, thank you. Thank you, honey. Welcome again to the 29th Annual Penguin Club Scholarship Ring Dinner. Tonight is truly a night to celebrate. We're here to celebrate the tremendous accomplishments of our student athletes, our coaches, special contributors, and the Penguin Club. Rob listed the 5 championship teams that we're here to celebrate and get rings to, and President Trussell mentioned the Lydon family, Paul and Laura. On a personal note, thank you very much for your commitment, dedication, and passion for Youngstown State University. The Penguin Club is the booster organization that supports the 400 plus student athletes here at YSU. And as President Trussell mentioned, we'll be competing in now 21 Division I sports here at the university. And as the cost of both higher education and athletic competition continue to rise, so does the challenge of competing at a championship level. To meet this challenge, the Penguin Club is there to support the athletic department and to provide that margin of excellence each year. Penguin Club membership revenue is used to cover the cost of athletic grant and aid for our student athletes, as well as to support and enhance the athletic department's general fund and to help defray the cost of, amongst other things, all those championship rings that we have to buy. 2018 was a great year for the Penguin Club. Actually, it was a record year. And it was a record year primarily because of all of you in this room here tonight and your support of YSU athletics. If you're a Penguin Club member now, thank you for your support. In addition to all of those rings, your contributions over the years have allowed us to establish the Joseph F. Malmaser Endowed Athletic Scholarship Fund this past year. This 7-figure endowment will allow the Penguin Club to award scholarship to student athletes in perpetuity and will increase our annual giving for scholarships by a factor of nearly 8 times. I would now ask that any Penguin Club Board of Trustee members here in attendance please stand and be recognized for your support of YSU athletics. Thank you. Membership in the Penguin Club is open to anyone. You don't need to be a parent of a student athlete. You don't need to be an alumni or a former athlete. You just need to be someone who cares about your community and your university. Now, I am going to be brief, President Tressel, and we already, Rob had this gentleman stand up already, and this person does not know I'm about to do this. But if there is someone that needs some singling out tonight, it's certainly this gentleman. In 1987, this Boardman, Ohio native laced up his track shoes and put on his Penguins jersey for the first time. He's now entering his 25th season as head coach of the men's and women's track team and cross-country teams. And in that time, Coach Brian Gorby has built one of the elite programs in the state of Ohio, the Horizon League, and most recently at a national level. After earning 3 letters as an athlete from 1987 to 1990, Brian served as an assistant coach on both the cross-country and track teams before being promoted to the cross-country program head coach in August of '93. A year later in July, he became head coach of the track teams as well. Brian told me tonight that when he was named the track coach, he was the youngest Division I track coach in the country at the time. As Rob mentioned earlier, under Coach Gorby's guidance, YSU has been nothing short than dominant in the Horizon League, and we've been on a tremendous run since 2014. Brian, I would ask that you would just stand up here for a minute so I can read a couple of things about you. And where did he go? Come on, Brian. If my math is right with this past weekend, Brian's teams have won a total of 39 total championships. And on the individual level, he's produced 11 All-Americans, 23 national qualifiers, 9 junior national qualifiers, and 75 NCAA regional qualifiers. He has also won a staggering, keep standing up, Brian, don't sit down yet, so, a staggering 31 Coach of the Year awards. A noted distance runner himself, Brian has competed in several marathons and has a personal best time of 2 hours and 26 minutes. Brian received his doctorate in educational leadership in 2003 from YSU after earning his bachelor's degree in 1990 and a master's in physical education in '94. Brian and his wife Charlotte reside in Boardman, and their daughter Jersey and their son Bo are Boardman students as well. One more time, congratulations, Brian, well deserved. In closing, if you're not a Penguin Club member, then quite simply, I'm asking you to consider to be one. Your support of the Penguin Club is vital to our mission of providing that margin of excellence each year. And it won't take you long to understand the tremendous impact that you'll have on our student athletes, our university, and our community. Thank you, and go Penguins.
Thank you, Tom. I don't feel so bad. I asked your wife in the back if she had any advice for me because I felt nervous. She gave me the same advice that she gave you. So I'm glad that worked and that I don't try to be too cute up here. Well, I didn't listen to her, did I? All right, believe it or not, the football team has already started spring practice. It began on Monday. They're scheduled to complete workouts on March 30th. The 2019 season kicks off August 24th against Seyfert in the Guardian Credit Union FCS kickoff in Montgomery, Alabama. That's right, they'll start on August 24th. They'll have 7 home games this year. You get 7 chances to watch the Penguins at Stambaugh beginning on September 7th against Howard. When I mentioned to this gentleman that he gets a chance to speak, he said, I'm very excited about it. Can you tell when you look at him? Would you please welcome our head football coach, Bo Pelini.
Thanks, Rob. I'm always looking forward to speaking in public. You all know that, but thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. But I wanted to thank, once again, I want to thank Paul and Laura Lydon family, and ever since I can ever remember growing up in the valley, and the Lydon family has been a staple of this of the Mahoning Valley and YSU and everything that's good or great about this place. So congratulations, it's well deserved. I also wanted to thank the Horizon League champions that are being honored here tonight. They already talked about the track and the accomplishments, and I remember Coach Gorby when we were playing Little League baseball when I was little, and I look out and he was running all around, and so it's been a long time coming, and what he's accomplished here at YSU is just unprecedented, and I congratulate you and really all your athletes. As far as the academics are concerned, that's what it's all about. Obviously, we all want to perform on the field, but it's in the classroom that really matters, because obviously everybody who plays sports, their days end at some point, and I wish she was here tonight, but it's just like the woman that I'm going to talk about right now. Just like her to be at home and to not want any spotlight or anything else. But we have the woman who's headed up for the last 31 years our academics. And I'm sure they're going to have something to honor her later on. But I didn't want to go past this event without thanking Marilyn Abruba, who has really headed up our academics. What she does is nothing short of miraculous. I mean, she is spectacular. She's headed up the academics. I know that every student athlete in here, they look at her not only as obviously as their academic counselor, but their second mom, and her dedication and her work ethic and the things she has brought to this university, in my opinion, is unprecedented. I've been obviously at some other places, some bigger schools, like with more resources, more money. And Marilyn has been able to do the job herself, personally, has been able to do a job that better than at places that I've been have had 8, 9, 10 people in the academic counseling department. And Marilyn is able to do it. How she does it, I have no idea. But I know she's going to be missed. She's retiring this June. I don't know how we're going to replace her, but I know that we all as a community got to thank her for her service and everything she's brought to YSU. And I wish she was here tonight, but it's just like Marilyn to not want any recognition. But I didn't want to go by this event without thanking her for her service and making sure that everybody understands that YSU is so in such appreciation for everything she's done for us. I also want to, there's a lot of great things going on here at YSU right now with the, the other sports. I know the women's golf team has been they're number one in the in the preseason poll. Next year we're adding men's swimming and women's lacrosse. The women's basketball team has had a great year, and they're looking forward to doing some great things heading into the tournament. The men's basketball team has just recently, I think, went on a six-game streak and is getting ready to head into the tournament, probably playing the best basketball of the year. There's a lot of great things going on in the winter sports. The softball team's getting ready to kick off. Soccer's out there practicing and fighting for us for indoor facility time, and they're getting ready to start their spring schedule. There's a lot of great things going on, and these kids are working hard. They're dedicated, and they do things the right way. And not only the student athletes, but the coaches, the team, and everybody involved in the athletic department. It's a great time to be a Penguin, and I'm excited about what we have going on. The facilities are phenomenal. Obviously, you guys have been a big part of doing that. With the construction of the Constantini Multimedia Center over on the other side of the stadium, the Cafaro softball field just put new turf in. We are not wanting for great facilities. They're getting ready to build a new tennis center, which I believe in the tennis center present is going to be a bowling alley. We already saw what they did at Wick, and they're getting ready to do the fifth. There's some exciting things going on down at the university. A large part to the efforts of President Tressel, to his staff, the administration, and really the great team that's assembled down there. And none of it would be possible without all your generosity, your effort, and the teamwork that goes on here in our community to make YSU the best for our student athletes and everybody that goes to school and calls YSU their alma mater. So I know I'm fortunate to be a part of it, specifically to football. We have an exciting season coming up. We opened with Seyfert, like what Rob talked about, that we're playing in like the BC or the, I don't even know, what are we, FCS? I don't even know what the heck we're called, but FCS, all these numbers, I'm not very good with the alphabet, but we're playing in the first college football game, so we get to go down to Alabama and play, and we're excited about that. We have 7 home games, and I don't know how President Tressel pulled it off, but we get to play those guys over in Akron in 2020. How he got them to agree to that, I have no idea, because we've been trying to make that happen for a number of years. So we're excited. Is the football? Like Rob said, we started spring ball yesterday. I couldn't get out back on the field quick enough. We didn't have this type of season that our standard is. What the standard here is high. The standard here in football is to win a championship and play for the national championship, and to win a national championship, and that's what we're here to do. Last year we fell short, and bottom line, it falls on me as a head football coach, and we're excited. I think that we have a few changes on the staff. Got some fresh blood in, some experience back on the staff. I know that my brother Carl, he's not here tonight, but I'm excited to have him back. John Peterson, who's in the back there, he came in and he brings a wealth of experience, and we're excited about what Pete brings to the table on the offensive line. We lost our offensive line coach to the New England Patriots. Heck of an opportunity for Carmen Brasillo to go to New England and get a chance to be the assistant offensive line coach. That if all the stars align right, it could turn into something full time for him, or to the top job here in a couple years. And so it was a heck of an opportunity for him. But I feel great about bringing Pete on the staff, because he brings a lot of experience and expertise. And at the end of the day, we got to have a tougher football team, mentally and physically, and be more detailed in what we're trying to do. And like anything else, football's about fundamentals, technique. It's not about what you're doing, it's about how you do it. And the thing that was most disappointing to me from last year's standpoint was we didn't get beat. We beat ourselves a lot, and that's not going to happen again. And that falls on me, is a head football coach, and our players deserve better, and our fans deserve better. And we are excited and looking forward to the challenge that lies ahead. I can't wait to, I mean, September or August 24th can't come fast enough, but there's a lot of work to do between now and then. I know our players are great kids. They're committed to doing things the right way, on and off the field, and no one's happy about how last year ended, and we are looking forward and chomping at the bit to get back out there and make things right and represent YSU, this football program, and this community the way it needs to be represented every single day. So I thank you again for all the support you've given me, our program, YSU, our athletic department, and it's a team thing. We need each other. And I can tell you, from everybody involved in our athletic department, we will fight night and day, every single day, to provide you with the best product we possibly can and provide these student athletes with what they deserve. And that means a top of the line education, great coaching, and a chance to get their degree in a great community such as YSU provides. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Very happy to have Coach Pelini. If you follow the YSU baseball team, then you know who Jacob Seyfert is. If you don't follow the baseball program, you're about to find out why he has become such an inspiration to those around him. If you'd please turn your attention now to the video screens, to my left and right, and your left and right, we will introduce you to Jacob Seyfert.
Inspiration. It is defined in many ways, such as someone or something that gives you ideas for doing something, and someone that people admire and want to be like. For the YSU baseball program, that is exactly what McDonald, Ohio native and Team Impact player Jacob Seyfert has meant to them.
Hi, my name is Jacob Seyfert. I live in McDonald, Ohio, and something that some people don't know about me is that I beat cancer twice, and go Penguins.
At the age of 4, Jacob was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and after 3.5 years of chemotherapy, he was deemed cancer-free. In November of 2012, his cancer returned. 3 months later, Jacob underwent a bone marrow transplant, and to this day is cancer-free.
So I've known Jacob since I was a freshman. Back then, he was just coming off, beating his second round of cancer, and Jacob is one of the strongest kids I know personally. Every day he comes and he has a smile, and no matter what, he's just been victorious with whatever he's done in life. He pushed through. I've seen him grow up a lot. I mean, this year he just joined the bowling team, which has been awesome. We went and saw some of his matches. But no, it's just been awesome to see Jacob grow up, and he's just an inspiration to our team and also the community as well.
Jacob and the YSU baseball program were partnered together in 2016 through the Team Impact program. Team Impact is a nonprofit organization that aims to improve the quality of life for children facing life-threatening and chronic illness through the power of being part of a team.
He was watching out his window, watching the Akron Rubber Ducks play, and he would gather up enough strength that Mom would take him down in a wheelchair to watch a few games. And that's how he got involved with Team Impact, came to the hospital and asked him if he would like to get involved in something like that. And they pair him up with a baseball team because that was one of his favorite sports. And we got involved with the Akron Zips University baseball team. So then when the university felt it in their heart to disband the sports program for baseball, that's how we got involved with YSU. Because a couple of their players transferred here, and they brought Jacob along with them.
Over the last 4 years, Jacob has become more than just one of the guys. He's become family. He's been part of trips to Chipotle, the movies, the arcade, and as well as having the opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
Dan's been really nice. He's done a lot for me. It was just cool. Going to the movies and arcade, that was fun. Just how they treat me like a part of the team. Going to road trips with them. When we go out to dinner, I would ride the bus with them. We went to City Barbecue one time, and that was really good. Playing catch on the field with the players and coaches, been fun.
You know, we realize that, you know, things can be taken from you very quickly, and to really enjoy every day that you have. I can't imagine the hardship and struggle that they went through. I don't think any of us really understand, you know, what it was like when, you know, going through 2 bouts of you know, cancer and chemo and, you know, bone marrow transplant and all those things, and the strength that he showed to be able to, you know, the resiliency that he showed to never give up, and you know, the example that he set for me and my family and our entire coaching staff and our players. You know, I really think that that's just, it's something that you can never take for granted.
After all he's been through and experienced, Jacob Seyfert has one message he'd like to share with everyone.
Never give up. I've got a good family, yes, including my brother. I go to a good school. I got a great life already, and I'm not going to take it for granted.
We are honored to have Jacob and his family here tonight. Would they please stand? Jacob Seyfert and his family. Also, we'd like to thank Chris Colella. He is a YSU student who works in the Athletic Communications Department with Trevor Parks and Jamie Hall and John Vogel. Chris put that video together. He produced it and narrated it. Will Chris please stand? Nice job. All right, and as we have become accustomed to here at the Scholarship Ring Banquet, one of the highlights of the night, not only hearing from our Penguin of the Year, but our opportunity to meet our student athletes, whether it's at your table here at dinner or hearing about their experiences when they come forward on the given night. Now, our first student athlete who will talk with you this evening is a senior on the women's basketball team. A native of Beloit, she is majoring in biology and pre-med. In the season opener this year, she made the game-winning, buzzer-beating, game-tying buzzer-beating shot against Robert Morris that sent the game into overtime that the Penguins eventually won 69-59. That kind of got their season off in the right direction. Since then, she has emerged as one of the top point guards in the Horizon League, ranking 3rd in the league with better than 4 assists per game. She's among the nation's top 25 in assists to turnover. She's among the top players on the team. She is currently averaging more minutes this year than she did in her first 3 years at YSU, and she's also setting career highs in points scored. Would you please welcome Melinda Trimmer.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, I'm truly humbled and beyond grateful to be able to stand before you all tonight and represent the entire student-athlete body at Youngstown State. If I'm being honest, when I was asked to do this speech, I thought, why me? Are you sure you guys don't want literally any of these other amazing athletes that have accomplished far more than me? Don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to be able to speak in front of you all today, but I think I'd be a little less sweaty if I was sitting out there in one of those seats, listening to maybe one of my teammates talk. Since I brought them up, I have to brag about this group of people for a second, because they've accomplished some exciting things this year. First, Coach Barnes attained not only his 100th win here at YSU, but his 250th career win as a head coach. My best friend, Allison Smolinski, has broken quite literally every three-point record in the books, and she just scored her 1,000th point. Sarah Cash, who's also scored over 1,000 points, returned for a 5th year to give our team a chance to win a title, and has already played in more games than anyone in the history of our program. I've witnessed firsthand the growth of each of my teammates as competitors and as people, and I'm honored to represent the city of Youngstown with this group. As you may or may not know, well, now you know, I'm from around here, 30 minutes out that way to be exact. In about 6th grade, I decided that my primary goal in life would be to play Division I college basketball. Since I'm keeping it real with everyone here tonight, I had other plans in mind as well. I did not want to go to Youngstown State. As a little girl, all I knew about Youngstown State was that that's where my dad went to school, so I always thought, oh, if my dad went there, I could never go there, that's not cool. So as I entered 7th grade, my oldest brother, Victor, started attending YSU. And with that, I was all, oh, I'm for sure not going there now. If you know me, you know I'm very independent and I've always had the desire to create my own path. So as a few more years go by, you would not believe my reaction to finding out that my only other brother, Brock, decided to attend Youngstown State when I was a sophomore in high school, amidst the time that recruited started picking up. I said, no, that's real nice for you guys, but I'm gonna go somewhere far away from here, and I'm gonna start my own legacy. As I started having contact with the coaches here, I was honest to goodness upset with myself because I was intrigued. It seemed like there was something special about that place over in Youngstown. I was wondering what it was that they had that everyone around me was so pulled to. So clearly, I investigated my curiosity into the university. Once I looked in, I never looked back. And I thought I didn't want to be home. Turns out that's the reason why I came here. I couldn't resist the feeling of home I had when I interacted with the coaches and team, professors and advisors. There's something special here that I think people only understand who are a part of our family. From the day I set foot on this campus, I felt very secure in the fact that everywhere I looked, I had someone who was willing to help me be comfortable and successful. So as you can imagine, my dad and brothers were ecstatic when it took me less than 2 weeks to commit to YSU because they were feeling like they really played a part in my decision, while my mom was somewhere crying because she'd still have the opportunity to watch me play in person. I'm forever indebted to the people who've made my time here a success. Undoubtedly, I owe many thanks to my coaches for giving me the chance to fulfill my dream of playing Division I basketball. Thank you to my teammates. I will miss running the hills with you. Just kidding. No, I won't. I love you guys. Thank you to my professors, especially Dr. Cooper, for his guidance, to Marty Hayden, Elaine Jacobs, Emily Wallet, Rebecca Fink, John Bogle, and many other faculty for giving all your efforts to us student athletes. We truly appreciate all you do. As for the Penguin Club members, our sponsors, supporters, and donors, thank you for your continuous support and generous donations to our program. You are the backbone to this university as you provide us with beautiful facilities, beautiful championship rings, and endless opportunity. I'd also like to personally thank and congratulate the Lydon family on becoming the Penguins of the Year. Your dedication and investment into our university does not go unnoticed, and I can only hope you know how appreciative we are of you and your support. All of these thank yous could never come close to conveying the amount of gratitude I have towards this university and each person who makes it home to people like me and so many others. I truly thought I'd seen it all with Youngstown State. Until 2 short Sundays ago, I learned that multiple people allowed the love of my life to get down on one knee at Center Court and Beagley Center to ask the big question. I'm confident I can never repay you for the love you allowed me to receive that day, but I have a feeling I'll be returning back to the O to pay my respects quite often. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. We're glad that you came to YSU. Welcome back anytime. Good luck, by the way, this Saturday at Cleveland State and then in the Horizon League tournament. Our next student athlete's a member of the men's track and field along with cross-country teams. A senior from Howland, he's majoring in chemistry and pre-pharmacy. This past fall, he posted one of the top seasons in school history and was named All-Horizon League first team. He finished second in the Horizon League cross-country championship with a time that broke a 20-year school record. He was a top 4 finisher in the 3,000 and 5,000 meter runs in all 4 Horizon League indoor championships, and the same can be said for the 10,000 meter run in the outdoor championships. Let's have a nice round of applause for Ryan Sullivan.
Hello, and good evening to all. I'd like to begin by expressing my gratitude for being asked to speak tonight. It is truly an honor to represent the cross-country and track teams of YSU. Before I talk about my journey, there are a few people I'd like to thank for making this all possible. The 2019 Penguins of the Year, Laura and Paul Lydon, and the rest of the Lydon family, thank you guys so much. The Penguin Club, our president, Jim and Ellen Trussell, the Mincy family for all of your support throughout the 5 years I've been here now, my coaches, Brian Gorby, Eric Roop, Coach Guy, Nicole Kent-Strollo, Coach Townsend, and lifting coaches Brian and Matt. The people behind the scenes, Emily Wallet, Elaine Jacobs, Ron Strollo, Rebecca Fink, Jamie Hall, Trevor Parks, and academic advisors Marilyn, Marty, and Rachel. As you can see, there are a lot of people at YSU that have contributed to this success. I also would like to send out a vast thank you to my family. and my second family, the YSU cross country and track teams. Last but not least, though, I'd like to thank everyone here. It is with your support and commitment to YSU that has granted me and many others the opportunity to be a Penguin. My journey began in the spring of 2014. I was attending Howland High School, and for some odd reason, I really enjoyed endless ovals around the track. I improved each year and eventually became proficient enough to catch the attention of a few collegiate coaches. Letters and phone calls followed in. But to make a very, very long story short, it only takes one phone call from Coach Gorby to know everything about being a Penguin. After an hour, or was it maybe 3, I was able to say my first few words. Honestly, though, there wasn't much I wanted to say. I was very interested in YSU and made my decision shortly thereafter. The local feel, state-of-the-art facilities, and supportive team made a no-brainer. I even got a call from my then teammate, Coach Roop, huffing and puffing, congratulating me as he recovered from a game of rec basketball. Some people might not recognize or even remember details like that, but it is that kind of enthusiasm, excitement, and commitment I have come to know from everyone here at YSU. Throughout my time as a Penguin, I have met numerous lifelong friends and had the opportunity to experience many things that I simply would not have if it wasn't for all of you. Whether it was zigzagging across the country for meets, competing for Horizon League titles, or just going on training runs with teammates at Mill Creek Park, I owe it all to YSU. Speaking of owing things to YSU, I'm a little embarrassed to mention this, but I think it's appropriate for tonight. I actually forgot to pack one of my championship rings to wear tonight. When I told my girlfriend, she just laughed and told me to borrow one from someone else on the team. And most programs don't get the opportunity to win one ring, let alone have enough to pass around. This made me really appreciate all that YSU, the Penguin Club, and the community as a whole do for me and fellow students at YSU. Your support makes all of this possible, and it does not go unappreciated. That support and the appreciation comes full circle in my last story of the night. 2 years ago, Corby approached some of us runners and asked if we would redshirt in order to compete for a 5th year. For us, that meant putting life on hold for another year. Although we came here aspiring to run faster, it wasn't the only reason. We also came to receive a world-class education and to pursue careers other than athletics. As all of you are well aware, money can be made and lost, but time is precious, and you never get it back. Keeping that very real reminder in our heads, it only took us one night to come up with an answer. We would put our lives on hold if it meant wearing the Y on our chest for one more year. Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, you gave up an opportunity to go to medical school, to redshirt, and try to come back and win another championship here at YSU. Congratulations. And you got the championship. Very nice. Best of luck. Thank you to both Melinda and Ryan. Thank you. We'd also like to recognize a couple of our students as well. Derek Skinner, who is the recipient of this year's Chuck Perizich Scholarship. It's awarded to students who assist in the Athletic Communications Department in honor of Vindicator's longtime editor, Chuck Perizich. Also, the recipient of this year's Bruce Burge Scholarship is Lucas Garland. It annually goes to a student who assists in the Athletic Marketing Department. Unfortunately, neither one of those gentlemen are here tonight. Now, before we honor our 2019 Penguins of the Year, I'd like to recognize our past Penguins of the Year. If they please stand when I have an opportunity to announce their name. Last year's recipient, the Hively family. Are they here? Yes? There we go. Dave Dybel. I know Dave's here. Dennis and Janet Haynes. Dr. Darrell and Vicki Mincy. Ed Reese and his family. Reed and Judy Schmutz. And the YSU football alumni. If anyone here from football alumni, please stand. Thank you again to our past Penguins. Now I'd like to introduce to you our president of the YSU Foundation, Paul Mcfadden. If he would please come forward now, he will introduce to you our 2019 Penguins of the Year, Paul's a proud YSU graduate, also a past Penguin of the Year himself. He and his staff continue to do an outstanding job at the foundation. Now with assets of more than $225 million, the YSU Foundation is the largest public university foundation in Northeast Ohio. Here's Paul Mcfadden.
Thank you, Robbie. Where's Ron Strollo? Again, he asked me to have the honor of introducing Paul this year, but he sits me in the back of the room. So I started walking to the podium about 5 minutes ago, so I would be here in time. I got you, Paulie. It is a great honor to be here this evening and introduce Paul and Laura Lydon, longtime friends. We've had several conversations over the last 3 weeks, reminiscing. We walked campus at the same time. We're contemporaries. We were students, late 70s, early 80s, and we reminisced about a lot of those times. Our first conversation was about 4 weeks ago. They're down in the Florida Keys now. If you recall, when it was -5, remember it was -5 about a month ago? And I called down. We had a telephone appointment that day. Paulie's hiding right now. Paulie was a little salty that day because they were having some problems with their air conditioning. I said, well, Paulie, just get on a plane and come home because it's -5 here right now. They would have never have accepted this award if it wasn't such a milestone year for the Lydon Oil Company. It's the 100-year anniversary for the Lydon Oil Company, and I know that was their motivation to allow us to honor them this year. 3 themes resonated every time we talked: family, business, and YSU. The only thing they didn't talk about was themselves. In fact, I'll quote Paul Lydon: business is family, and family is business. Now, if you look at their website, this is such a milestone year, there's an iconic photo. I understand this photo is over Paul's desk. It symbolizes the beginning of the Lydon Oil Company. It's supposed to be on your screen right now. And I'll quote from their website: the Lydon Oil Company was founded in 1919 by 4 siblings: William, Patrick, Michael, and May. In May, there's a photo of 3 brothers on the screen right now, so I'll speak for all the women in the room. While their brothers were out taking publicity photos, May was back in the office getting all the work done. They were founded on Andrews Avenue, 739, right down from campus. In fact, we Googled Earth, and the building is still there. There's a rail spar that runs behind the building. That's what brought their product in. They started with coal oil that was needed in the steel mills, and through the years, they have greatly diversified, and the little fledgling company grew through the 1920s, the 30s, the 40s. And by the time the 1950s came around, it was time for, as I agree with President Tressel, the giant of the company, Paul's father, William Lydon Jr., took control. Now, William Lydon Jr. is an all-American story. Went to Youngstown, Ursuline, served our country in World War II, in fact, in the Pacific Theater in the Philippines. He returned back to the States, went to the University of Notre Dame, played football under Frank Leahy, and then tried a little bit out in the corporate world, but destiny was the Lydon Oil Company. In the mid-50s, he took control of the company. The second generation made the company flourish. Paul's father, he was an innovator, changed product lines, and throughout the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, the company became a giant in the valley. Towards the end of his tenure, in fact, towards the end of his life, Mr. Lydon started introducing the 3rd generation, Paul and his siblings, to take control of the company. Mr. Lydon passed in 1994. Currently, the company is run by Paul and his 2 brothers, Breen and Mark. Laura is also on the leadership team. She's corporate secretary. The 3rd generation is embracing change, innovation, changing product lines. It's hard to last 100 years, and yet the company is growing. What's neat is, you'll look at the cover of your program, the 4th generation is in the wings. Their sons and daughter is here this evening, and son-in-law, son Paul Jr. is operations manager. Their daughter Jennifer is currently the controller, and son-in-law Mark, he's the IT manager. And through it all, there was this amazing affiliation with Youngstown College, Youngstown University, and Youngstown State University, principally led by Paul's father. You know, we needed a football stadium in the 1970s. Well, it was the 3 giants, Arnold Stambaugh, Frank Watson, and William Lydon, that made that happen. Now, Paul's dad's known a little bit as the enforcer when things got tough. He's the one who kicked doors in and shook things up and made it happen whenever they ran into challenges. In the late 80s, we needed housing. As President Trussell said, the family stepped up again and provided Lydon House for us. They provided the Newman Center right across the street. They've also served as volunteers. Paul was president of the Penguin Club. His brother Mark was a university trustee. But towards the end of our second conversation, a few weeks ago, I thought Paulie was getting a little punchy. And he said towards the end, and by the way, Mac, my uncle, he was the founder of the Jam Bar. I'm like, okay, Paulie. Yeah, your uncle was the founder of the Jam Bar. It's getting late. We'll finish this conversation. So I called Archives after the call. I called Cassie Nespor. I said, Cassie, this is a wild goose chase, but tomorrow morning, shoot me an email about however the Jam Bar was founded on our campus. Burke Lydon, the spring of 1931, Paul's uncle founded the Jam Bar on the campus of Youngstown State University. He was also the first editor of the Jam Bar. The connection between the family and our university is profound. Undoubtedly, the best story about the YSU Lydon affiliation is Paul and Laura. They met on campus through a mutual friend. They talk about so many classic YSU alumni stories, sitting on the grassy hills out in campus core on warm spring days. They talk so familiarly with many of their professors. They talk about some institutions I don't recall, like Pogo's, Inner Circle, Tony's Hideaway, Chappie's. They both worked while they were students, which is typical. Paul worked for the Lydon Oil Company. He was a jack of all trades. He recalls driving trucks, fuel trucks, to the Stambaugh Stadium construction project for APO Horo while the stadium was being built in the 1980s. But their love for the university goes far beyond. They've enjoyed Penguin athletics. Paul is very proud that he's an original tailgater in the old tailgate lot. Student athletes, if you know where the Andrews Center is now, that used to be a parking lot. That's where the original tailgaters were. Now, this reference is strange because Paul kept saying, and there was no porta potties in that tailgate lot. I'm like, okay, that's a strange thing to remember. And the next time we talked, he brought up the tailgate lot again, and I said, I know, Paul, there was no porta potties. I know, you told me that. Every time we talked about it, there's no porta potties. They now have a loge in Stambaugh Stadium. They're legendary loge holders. They're very supportive of the community, particularly Second Harvest Food Bank, Ice Castle Scholarship Fund, the Regional Chamber. They support many of their vocational causes, the Ohio Trucking Association. Business is family, and family is business. YSU is so fortunate that Paul and Laura Lydon consider YSU as part of their family. It's an honor to call to the podium the 2019 Penguin Club Penguins of the Year, Paul and Laura Lydon.
We did fill it up. Jeff Crystal, thank you. You did a great job. Can't see. That's that getting old thing, But guess I can be politically correct. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dave Dybel, substituting for Paul Lydon tonight. So a lot of the YSU folks know that this is how you usually see me on game day, pacing back and forth. But Dave and I are twins from different mothers, as a lot of people in the YSU community know. No, really, my name is Paul Lydon, and I am really, really pleased to be here tonight. And speaking of mothers at this time, I would like to take a moment and recognize two mothers that were the wives of two pillars of this community and YSU, and true leaders and a generation of great doers and great accomplishments. I speak for my family. We lost my mother in December, Donna Lydon, and we lost another great pillar in Norma Watson. They happened to be kind of like roommates across the halls from each other at Ed and Diane's fabulous facility, and it was always a joy to see Ellen and her sister, and it was a great community, and getting to appreciate the last final days of Norma and Donna. They were December 2018, and they will be truly missed. So for Ellen and the Lydon family to the Watsons, it was great to serve on many committees with Frank. I knew my father did. These were true, for that generation, those men were the pillars of our community, and it was great. I'd like to thank, at this time, I'd like to thank my family and my friends, especially my wife, Laura, which told me you do the speaking. I always say we own the company, but my wife, Laura, runs it, so smart, okay. So with that, my daughter, Jennifer Lydon Jr, and my son, Paul Jr., if you could, please. And of course, my sister, Mary Beth Johns, and her husband, Chuck. My in-laws, they're great folks. And to our loyal employees, and I say loyal because if you look back into our family history, we don't have the guys that have been there 2-3 years. No, they've been there 20, 30, and 40 years. And that's what's nice, because they're a part of the Lydon Oil family, and that means a lot to us. I'd like to also extend a special thanks to all of our suppliers, to our customers. I mean, I think everybody here at one time or another is a customer of the Lydon Oil Company. We thank you, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And I have to thank the people that really, really are our foundations in this community. I'd really like to pay thanks to my son-in-law, Mark Urich, who is suffering right now in the Florida Keys due to some family difficulties. He chose to stay down in 85-degree weather and watch the dogs. So I know you're all really just really suffering. I know you feel sorry for him. But now, business. Family is business. Business is family. And I'd like to thank Mac for that, but I also like to take time and thank the YSU faculty and staff, the trustees, my twin, his group of folks, of course, coach, president, Jim, friend, long time since I remember walking he and Coach Malmasor down to the hall and going to meet Dad. And I remember the old man saying, he's going to do good here someday. He's going to do good, So I remember that. I remember that like it was yesterday. I'd like to thank the Penguin Club for many, many years. I remember Coach Malmasor saying, we're going to get you into this organization, kid. And you're going to run this son of a gun one day. Well, it's great to be here. It's a distinct honor. I've coined the phrase and have the belief that dedication fuels success. Those of you who have been on the sidelines or up in the stands at the YSU Stadium, that's kind of like my motto. It's been on the sidelines for a long time. And I coined that phrase, and I have that belief that dedication fuels success. I really do. I had the opportunity to address most of you back when I was Penguin Club president in 2002. During that speech, I made a statement. We need to support our university. which I said at that time was a diamond in the rough, okay? For those of you who were here then, maybe you remember that. Now, we stand here 17 years later with this administration, this fine group of people here tonight, and I can truthfully say, we now have a polished gem. With this group of people, the Penguin Club, the administration, the staff, the president, the trustees, the athletes, everybody should be proud to be a Penguin. I know I am. And now, with that, I stand here, and I am pleased to announce, yes, the Lydon Oil Company, founded right here 100 years ago. Youngstown, Ohio, 100 years. Wow. With 100 years of dedication to quality products, competitive pricing, and excellent service, our company motto and the principles that help us to reach this momentum of achievement. Those were taught to me by my grandfather. When I was 16 years old, I used to have to take him to church every day up to St. Columba. You could ask my sister. I mean, here I am, long-haired kid, driving Poppy up to church because he went to church every day. And it's what he said to me. He said, son, every 10 years I see 10 oil companies come into this town. Every 10 years I see 10 of them leave this town. If you have quality products, competitive pricing, and excellent service, you'll be in it for the long run. 100 years. 100 years. Now, our fourth generation. I'd like to introduce everybody to my son and my daughter. Please stand. They're assuming more and more responsibilities. As I said, the fourth generation is assuming more and more responsibilities in our company. And they're lending their leadership to our community. I see in this room the potential, and throughout YSU, the polished gem for true leadership in the future. We have all the parts of this to make it happen. We have all the pieces to this puzzle. We have excellent education, low cost of living, transportation. We could go anywhere. You can go anywhere. I mean, you know, within hours, you're at 30% of the population in the United States in a matter of hours. We have all the business opportunities right here. I want to stress, and for those of you who heard me, you know, when doing the radio show or anything, I want to stress that we must be business friendly and provide opportunities to keep our, you know, to keep the next generation in our community. Keep them here. Keep the fourth generation here. To grow new community leaders. We have to be business friendly. We bring people in, we have higher education, we have great health care, we have low cost of living, we have great transportation, we have all the parts to the puzzle to keep people here and to continue on with our great community. It's all there. In concluding, I really want to congratulate the student athletes for their achievements. It's great. It's great to see it. I remember parking in the back 40 where the football stadium is, and, you know, we'd have to, you know, walk to class and everything. It was a gravel parking lot back then and everything, but you guys have done a great job. I mean, it's, you know, from, you know, even from 17 or, you know, 40 years ago. I mean, God, it's great. And once again, I want to thank Coach, President, Jim, Friend, his complete staff. Paul Mcfadden, Mac, you're fabulous. Ron Strello, yes, Ron, I do own a tie. It's amazing. And I didn't yell at you tonight, so I mean, you know, but I want to thank Ron, Jim Morrison, Tom Morella, Ticket Tommy. Tommy pulls this off. It's fantastic. You always get an email from Tommy. You feel like you failed your midterm papers because he always sends an email out in red. But yeah, Tommy in the red ink, I mean, it's just, God, it brings back bad memories. But change the ink, Tom, change the color. But for everybody, all the coaches, Coach Bo, everybody, Gorby, you guys have done a great job. And to all our YSU friends, the faculty, the staff, Daryl Mincy, many, many days with Daryl and those guys. I mean, it's been fantastic. And all our YSU friends, we thank you for your dedication. Dedication fuels success. Remember that. Go Penguins.
Thank you very much, Paul. Doesn't matter what hat you're wearing, you look good in both, right? You look good in both of them. I like the sombrero better, but I like them both. Ticket Tommy, I didn't know that was a nickname. Guess what he's going to be called tomorrow at work? Ticket Tommy. And the red ink. That's awesome. And at least I know I'm not the only one that confused you and Dybel, because I swear to God, when I first started working here, I had to look twice, and I'm like, please don't get it wrong, because I knew how powerful you were, Paul. Dybel, I mean, yeah, it's Dave. But I just didn't want to call Paul Dave, and I knew that was a problem. But congratulations to Lydon and Paul and Laura. Just a couple of pieces of business before we let you go here tonight. We did exceed our 8:30 limit, but we're still under 8:45. We beat 9 o'clock. Coach Calhoun owes me an ice cream. Both the men's and women's basketball teams close out their regular seasons this weekend. They'll play Saturday against Cleveland State. The women play in Cleveland at 1 o'clock. The guys are at home against the Vikings at 6 p.m. Both teams begin the Horizon League tournament next week. The women are playing at home. The men still have a chance to play a first-round home game. The baseball team's at Tennessee Tech this weekend for a 3-game series starting on Friday. The softball team plays 4 games in South Carolina next weekend. The women's tennis team plays at Ohio State this Thursday, whereas the men's tennis team is in Orlando, Florida for matches March 10th through the 13th. The women's golf team just finished competing in the Kauai Island Spring Classic in South Carolina today. Caitlin Schutt set a new school record for lowest score in 54 holes. Next weekend, the men's golf team will play in the Jackrabbit Invitational in Boulder City, Nevada. The women's bowling team is in New Jersey this weekend for the Hawk Flight Invite, hosted by Monmouth University. We want to wish all of our student athletes and their teams the best of luck this weekend for the rest of the season as well. Thank you for your support of YSU Athletics. We'll see you at the game. Good night, everybody.